Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope all's well with you. So, I want to talk about the law of attraction and how this idea of law of attraction is only 50% true in my perspective, okay? In my view. And I'll tell you why. There are many people out there promoting the law of attraction, talking about it, blah, 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 right? Where energy, your energy frequency reflects your intention, and your energy reflects out to the universe, and that gets drawn into your reality. Okay, so I'm not being the Debbie the Downer, but that is not 100% true, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because if you're in a low vibration, so anything that's resonating below 250 megahertz, around 200 to 250 megahertz, and you're listening to some teacher tell you this, okay? And you're doing all the things, and everyone, this has happened to everyone. You cannot tell me that this has not happened to you. Because years and years and years ago, when someone was educating me on the law of attraction, and it's not they were educating me, they were telling me to do it, right? And like, it never fully resonated 100%. Like, I believed in it, but I also knew that I shouldn't have to keep on putting intentions out there and keep on saying these mantras and phrases and, acting like I own this, or acting like I have this in my life, like all these things, right, that they tell you to do. It never fully resonated with me, but I did believe in it. So I know there's some truth to it. But I'm going to tell you right now that if someone is vibrating below 200 to 250 megahertz, and they're told to put this intention out there, put this out there, put this out there, and they're doing it to no avail. Right? So there are many reasons to why law of attraction doesn't work. Okay, you can't tell everyone out there in the world to do do this, because it's not going to work for everyone. And the reason being is the megahertz frequency. The reason is programs and contracts, soul programming. The reason is energy frequency. The reason is many lifestyle behaviors and habits. And we have to consider that people, okay, considering people who are so people that are, what I'm saying is this: when people are preaching and educating, they're blanketing everything. You cannot blanket these spiritual laws and these ideals on people, because it's not going to work for everyone, and people are being misinformed. And this is these are subcategories and part of the false light agenda matrix. The false light agenda matrix has half truth and half false. Half true and half false. And this is because the dark wants you to be guided down a path that seems to be, yes, this is calling me. An essence of your soul is aligned to that, and it's getting drawn and pulled into that. But your ego really is running the show, and the ego is based in fear and is most definitely influenced by the dark forces. So this whole false light agenda, the false light matrix, is connected to this misinformation, etc. It gets very complex and very intricate and detailed. You really have to dissect and assess a lot of spiritual data. You have to go through a lot in life to understand what I'm talking about. You have to really be mindful of your experiences. And I'm not even talking about meditation here, guys. Like, this is not even stuff that you do when you go into meditation. This is experience, life experience. The most impactful and meaningful knowledge and wisdom I've received is through life experience, is through mindfulness, is through, resonating in the heart space and living my life and acting out through that heart space. This is real, true divinity, okay? Divinity is not only going into a meditation and doing yoga. It's part of it, right? But true divinity is when you are 100% authentic, you are in your own true nature, and you are living and working from the heart space in love frequency, where everything you do, everyone you come across, you're working from that space. So the intent or the lifestyle comes from love. In every waking minute of your day, it's from that. So that means that if you wake up in the morning, you're loving on yourself, you're giving yourself the love that you need to move forward in this day. Then I don't know, what do you do in the morning? If you go out to get a cup of coffee, if you make a cup of coffee, say you go out to get a cup of coffee or tea, you're smiling at people in public. You're jolly and happy, even if you don't feel that way. Because I'll be honest with you, my whole life, I battled with melancholy, depression, anxiety, social anxiety. And I made it a point that no matter where I was, I did not unleash my problems on people. I didn't put I didn't expect people in this world to be responsible for my sadness or my problems. It was my responsibility. So why would I go out in the world and act like an asshole to people if the issues were within me? And it didn't matter if people externally created situations that made me feel this way, right? Because inside my head, I always knew that I was the captain of my ship, and I needed to fix myself. No one was going to fix me. I knew how to fix myself. So I masked a lot of my issues. I masked a lot of my problems. And what I did was I gave love to people, even though I felt this way, because I knew that if I gave love, that energy frequency would emanate my environment and make other people, what have you, happy, or maybe help increase their energy, which will create a pulling effect that this energy would just be surrounding us and would help assist in elevating the energy frequency around my auric field and within me as well. You could say that law of attraction somehow works that way too. So it's connected to that. So I want you to know that there's many factors that play a role in the law of attraction, and it's not going to work for everyone, because if you're resonating at a low vibration, I mean, couple that with the foods that you're taking, couple that with the experiences that you have, conversations you're engaging in, the people that you surround yourself with, again, the foods that you put in your body, if you're doing spiritual practices, things like this, these all work to engage in if you're doing these, if you're eating high nutrient dense foods and you're doing spiritual practice and you're being in love frequency, all this is going to increase your vibration, and hopefully it'll get over the 200 to 250 megahertz mark, because that's where the up leveling starts to really happen fast. Like if you're below 200, 250, that's where the dark forces catch on to you. That's where the ego is easily influenced and harvesting of energy happens, etc. Okay? Once you get up that, and there's all emotions that are connected to this. So I want you to think about that. There's a lot of spiritual teachers out there saying like, do this, up level. People can't up level when they're deeply, deeply depressed, or when they're experiencing, social anxiety on a daily basis, or they're experiencing some sort of anxiety problem on a daily basis. People cannot remove themselves out of that third dimensional aspect, that third dimensional fear program. It's not easy for people to get out of that. I was there for many, many years. I knew how difficult, I know how difficult it is. I know how dark it can get. I know how, at one point I didn't even want to live anymore. I woke up I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. And this happened throughout my whole life, where it was cyclical, where I'd be good for 6 months. Then for the next 6 months to a year, it would be awful. Then I'd be good for 3 months, and then it'd be awful for another year. And then I'd be awful and then I'd be good for 6 more months, and then it'd be awful for 2 years. This was my whole life. Okay. And I know how dark it can get. My dark night of the soul. Some people have dark nights of the soul for a couple of months. I had a dark night of the soul that lasted years. It lasted like 3 years. Maybe even more, maybe 3 to 4 years. And when you go through the darkness and you surrender to it, this is when and you're willing to heal, and you do heal, and you take necessary action to heal, it's not easy, but it's step by step, it's little by little, and that's what I did. And this is where true wisdom and knowledge and connection to source and connection to spirit happens. Okay, meditation's great, yoga's great, but true connection to source and spirit happens when you begin to love yourself and when you exude that authenticity and love out to the world. That's when true alignment with source and spirit happens. And this is when you start receiving downloads. This is when you start receiving divine connection with everything in this universe, okay? Galactics, being telepathic, connecting, like all these spiritual abilities that we have, we can start ascending into, and our DNA becomes activated as well. I'm not saying don't meditate, no, don't do yoga, don't do these, spiritual practices, but I think people do emphasize way too much that you have to do this and you have to do that in order to connect with spirit and source. And that, again, creates more segregation and division amongst our creator and creator of all that is, and with ourselves, because creator of all that is within us. We are an essence of creator of all that is. So you're actually segregating yourself and segregating yourself from God. But again, meditation is a great practice. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying meditation is great for connecting with your pineal and exploring other realms, getting data, receiving data. But the other benefits and effects from meditation you can get through mindfulness, just being mindful in your day-to-day life. You can get the same effects. So keep that in mind. And is there anything else I need to say or speak about? I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that with law of attraction, because I was thinking about it in the shower this morning, and I always believed in this, and I started connecting with spirit, and they were giving me downloads and telling me, like, this is a point that you should talk about. And I took that point and expanded on it with my own true wisdom, and my own experience in life, because maybe my experience in life is just true for me and some people that are listening to this. And if you're listening to this and it didn't work, and that worked for you, then that's fine. Maybe that's your truth and that's your journey. But I know that many people that I've known in the spiritual community, or over the years of talking to people in the spiritual community, a lot of people say they put this intent out, nothing happens, and they think it's bullshit. And that's because it's an energy frequency. We're all energy. We're all working in the quantum field. And that energy frequency dictates your divine abilities and your divine and the divine orchestration that happens within your day-to-day life. Okay? So I hope this helps you guys, and I love you guys so much, and I hope all's well wherever this may find you, and I hope you're going to have a great rest of the week, and so I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.